Good afternoon, everybody. Tim Strombel from Cash and Biz here. A very special interview for you right now. As some of you may or may not know, medical cannabis is illegal in Mexico. But one family is capturing the hearts and minds of people all over the world, as the family of Grace Elizalde, an 8-year-old suffering from debilitating grand mal seizures, is looking to obtain CBD treatment medication after seeing a successful implementation of a similar medication here in the States in Colorado. The gentleman sitting right next to me right now, his name is Andres Aguinaco Gomez Mont. He is leading the charge, leading the case for medical cannabis to be legalized in Mexico. Andres, first of all, thanks for taking some time with us. Can you update us as to where the status of the case is now?
First off, thank you for having me here. Well, as you've said, Grace has had seizures, Lennox-Gastaut seizures, for all of her life now. In those 8 years of life, she's seen every possible doctor and she's tried every legal medicine in Mexico. So after the utter failure of every medical procedure she's been through, she requested the maximum authority of health in Mexico. It's the General Health Council in Mexico, if she could import this other new medicine, CBD-based medicine. And the General Health Council just swiftly said no. They said there's no evidence for it, it doesn't work, and you shouldn't be allowed to take it because it's dangerous. So after that, we sued the Mexican government because there was no scientific basis for what they were saying. There was no medical evidence that CBD could be dangerous for anyone. And because the Mexican Constitution recognizes the right to health, and the most important human rights covenants in the world also do so, then we said that the Mexican government, by not allowing her to get this product, was violating her human rights. Right now, we're in the period where we're assessing what products should be brought. We're assessing this with the family doctors. But now we have the first authorization by a judge in Mexico allowing us to bring these kinds of products.
Now, could you comment on how medical cannabis is perhaps perceived as a whole in Mexico?
When we started this ordeal, medical cannabis in general and CBD-based medicines were a taboo in Mexico. No one in the general public knew what they were for. But now, through Grace's case, social taboos have started to be chipped away. So people more and more now are understanding that there's CBD-based oils, that these kinds of medicines are in fact harmless, that the secondary effects are almost null. There's no relevant secondary effects. And all of this is through the media working with us and telling people about Grace's story and helping us start chipping away at taboos in Mexico in general.
So what do you think needs to happen in order for Mexico to push that bill past to where instances like Grace aren't as common in the future?
Well, Grace's case started a dialogue going in Mexico, and an area that was only reserved to the sidelines, that only activists and maybe some academics were talking about, has now come into the mainstream media, and now politicians and common families are talking about it. That really made a difference, and it was thanks to Grace's case.
Now, what's next in line for the actual case and her treatment moving forward?
Well, first up, we need the medicines to arrive into Mexico. We're looking at what company will provide the medicines for Grace. And after that, we need to try them out on her. She's tried already about 19 different medicines and they didn't work for her.
19?
19 anti-epileptic medicines. She already had a brain surgery and that didn't work either. So CBD is a hope, but we're not sure it's going to work for her either. There's a high chance that it will, but that small chance that it doesn't is keeping us awake at night. We don't know what will happen to Grace if those medicines don't work because she's already tried everything else. As for the case, we have to keep on going with the case. We have a ruling by a judge, but that ruling has been appealed by the government. The government doesn't want Grace to receive her medicines. So we will have to keep on fighting with that appeal and probably reach the Mexican Supreme Court, who will finally rule on this issue.
His name is Andres Aguinaco Gomez Mont. You can keep up with the case and everything that's happening with Grace in Mexico, I mean, really across all media platforms. Is there a set place that people should go to keep up with exactly what's happening with reform and the case?
Yes, you can look for Grace on Facebook or on her webpage. It's porgrace.com.
Thanks for the time, buddy. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me here.
Check out more great interviews just like this on cashandbiz.com.